Well, maybe you
I
could.
could oh. It reminds me of like what happened to me a couple of weeks ago when I said like I thought my back injury had come back this because I'd
Hmm.
had a bad back injury and it kind of like stuck around for days. It was really unusual. But I don't know.
Mm.
Do you use cranial say osteopaths? Osteopaths are good. They can really. So what we were doing like in work yesterday was the whole thing about just how that the emotions get trapped in our bodies and that cellular reproduction. It could even just be something, emotionally that wants to be released,
Mm.
not necessarily that your body is like, oh no, it's going to go again. Maybe it's like that emotional component with from maybe the kidney removal, all that energy and whatever was happening around that time in your life, all that energetic with that emotion is just what needs to be released. And I found with osteopaths and especially a craniosacral osteopath, that really supports my body in releasing the emotion because
Okay,
in the physical body, it needs that manipulation to allow that. I mean, we all talk about doing therapy and we talk about our emotions, but the physical body locks it in. So it sounds like it just wants maybe a moment to see if that helps.
Yeah, I'll try that. That makes a lot of sense.
And what part of the spine would you say is middle or
bottom left?
bottom?
So off to the side.
Bottom left. All right. So the back, Fiona could probably confirm this. The back metaphysically represents support. So depending on which chakra it's behind, it could be physical support. It could go down lower is financial support and then intimacy. So in the middle is going to be emotional support. Up here is going to be support in acknowledgement of your being heard, spoken word.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritual support. So you want to look and see if there's any areas of support that you feel you could use do better.
And
I'll look at that.
Oh yeah, another part is like just with it being that left side, because I know all my issue is on my left side, and like the practitioners that have worked on me have always been, okay, this is your feminine side. What aspects of myself am I denying and not letting in? How do I nurture myself and how do I actually ground into that like divine feminine energy?
I'm gonna go buy a dress.
Yay!
You're so funny. We're
go buy
gonna
a nice
surround
dress.
you in positive energy. We're gonna surround you in support. We love you so much.
Gather my sisters.
That's right. That's right. And you know what, Ernie? Look at what you're going through.
Yeah.
I mean, don't denounce that. It's actually parallel. It's total parallel. We support you, sweetie. We're behind you. We believe in you. I don't know what's going on with that crazy woman of yours, but you know what? Fuck that. So,
Yes, come back to Ernie. Come back to loving and nurturing Ernie.
That's right. Yeah.
That's the smile we're looking for right there.
I've got something to show Fiona.
Let me see that. Let me see that. What is that?
Divine Feminine. I'll hold it up again.
I didn't see nothing.
That's my journal.
That's her journal.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
And I'm so happy that you guys are talking about it. And someone was just saying earlier that I think the planet is going into this realignment with the feminine energy, and that it's both for female and male, because obviously we've got both energies. So it's so timely that you guys are bringing that up, and and talking about even the pain on the left side having to do with the feminine. So I thought that was just so on point. So I couldn't resist it because I had it right here. So
there I can see it.
Oh, yeah, you can see.
Speaking of mom, let's do a quick communion. Did you call your mom, mommy, or mother?
Mama.
Mom.
I called mine Mama Song.
I called my mama to give me food. All right, here goes. May the love of the water of life surround us.
May the
May
love
the,
of
the
water
water
of
of
life
life surround us.
May the love of water of life surround us.
May the light of the water of life enfold us.
May the light
Have a light.
of love.
Hold us.
May the power of the water of life restore us.
May the power
And the power
of
of the water of life restore us.
And may the energy, I'm making this up as we go, and may the energy of the water of life watch over us.
May the
May the
energy of
May the
water of
energy
life.
of the water of life watch over us.
watch over us.
Wherever
Love
we
that.
are, the water of life will always be also. Cheers.
Wherever
Wherever
Where
we
we
are,
are,
the
the
water
water
of
of
life will
always be there also. Yes.
Ah,
Mm.
2 hour old.
Beautiful prayer.
Oh, yeah, tastes amazing.
Thank you, guys. So I'm going to read a little bit from the book. Why not? We're going to look at the future of the Shivambu movement. And what is so amazing to me, it's very humbling, is I got the vision when the first book came out in 2018 of the future of this movement. And I would say that more than half of those things in that vision are happening right now.
Oh, wow.
So don't call me Nostradamus. It was just how it came through. All right.
We'll call you P-Damus.
Nostradamus.
Love it.
Oh my God, you guys are so magnificent. You're great. Okay. Page
Intuition.
into.
Hey, you guys, before we begin reading, can I ask a question?
Yes, Athena.
Okay, so I've been doing the looping, and it was cold and rainy on our last call, and so I made a sweet potato in the oven, didn't add anything to it. I got a pounding headache, but prior to that, at work, we eat really clean. It's Ann Wigmore. It's the energy soup. It's a very clean, fruity, vegetable-only raw diet. And I'm not dogma. I'm not tied to it. It's, I don't mind it. But prior to the sweet potato, I already had a bit of a pounder, and it stuck around for like 3 days. But it got really bad with the sweet potato. I mean, whoa. And so I didn't give up, though. Today, I woke up, same routine. I mean, because it resonates with me. And I just felt like, no, don't lay off. Don't give up. And it's gone, completely gone. I feel back to good, great. And as an experiment, I did try some of the energy soup. Mm-hmm. But Brother Sage, I wanted to ask you this. There's Rejuvelac in everything in Ann Wigmore, and it's a fermented product. Wheat. I didn't get the headache, but God dang, man, it hurt my stomach again. And, what's good, what's bad, what's this or that. I'm just listening to my body. I'm not thinking something's working out, like obviously, right? Yeah. You think it's that Rejuvelac? Because in the energy soup, yes, there's Rejuvelac, but it's all vegetables, carrot, zucchini, and it's raw. But the only thing I'm in question on is that fermentation. And I really want to hear what you say and what you guys think, because it hurt my belly bad.
I was a student of Dr. Ann Wigmore back in the 70s when I was in a raw food community. And my other guru teacher was Viktoras Kavinskas. His book was my Bible. So what they were teaching us back then is you take the wheat berries or any type of hybrid of wheat berries and you soak them and you leave them in the water. You soak them, then you break them after they sprout or two and just let them ferment in the water for a couple of days. And then you strain it out and use it. But what they never told us is the conditions of the seeds that go from harvesting to warehouse to semi-truck to store to bins to by the time you get it, telling how many times that's been touched or affected. Or if it crosses the border, it's irradiated. I mean, there's all kinds of factors. And in 2022, that may not be a good choice.
What do you think if they're doing it with the cabbage? We don't use the wheat berries much anymore. We use the cabbage and the quinoa. And I actually went and said, what's up? Which one are we on this week? Because it's kind of hard to tell the difference. And she said it's cabbage. And whether it's cabbage, wheat berries, quinoa, whatever, it's clearly something going on. Do you think I need to find out if that cabbage was local? Was it shipped in? You know, could it be radiated?
Yeah, it could be a whole series of things. And it may be your body is getting more refined. Your energy is increasing. So the types of food you'll be choosing will be cleaner, more refined, higher vibrational living foods, activated foods, or none.
Okay.
And you have to check in with your body more than what you read about these things.
Oh, for sure. And I'm all about that. Yeah. I don't do scientism. I don't do dogma. I'm not into that. I'm into just listening to me. And, you know, that's really what I preach to. I don't say, oh, you got to be on this and you have to do that. But I'm clearly noticing a shift. So I was wondering, with me doing the looping, you guys, is the tissue getting more and more saturated? And when I bring in a fermentation, or I brought in that cooked organic sweet potato, clearly something just went wonky quick. So I'm kind of like Fiona. I want to understand it, but I don't actually have to do that. But I do like it. I enjoy understanding it, and I'm a bit confused. I just feel a little bit discombobulated.
All right, Ernie, Fiona, do you want to check in on that, or
So I had a similar experience last night after being in my loop-in and just fruit juice. I was working, I came in and I just automatically started making food. I started to eat half of it. I put it down because I just didn't taste right. And then I burst out cry. I had like an emotional breakdown, and I couldn't figure out why. And all these excuses. But I think what is happening is we're disturbing the environment that is being created with something. I don't know who makes your food. You know, I totally agree with what Brother Sage said about the wheat berries and grains and things like that. You know, I'm more prone to go to fresh food. And I've started to make a fast. So I'll take my veg, beet, put it in a jar with water, a little bit of salt, shake it up every 24 hours and drink that for a fermentation, because I feel that, I don't know, there's something that is shifting in you, in your environment, and that there's a reaction going on, and the body will then try to adapt to that, what you are putting in. So maybe it's it's harder for it to adapt. I don't know. I was curious about mine because I burst out crying. I was because the last 2 days after looping, my whole inside, my vibration field is shaking. You know, when you've got a shake going on in the inside and you feel headed, and I'm is this because I haven't eaten? And that's why I made the food. Then as soon as I ate the food last night, I broke down, and I couldn't. And this morning, I'm doing something to the environment that I'm creating, and it's having a reaction and trying to, I don't know. It's all interesting and new.
Well, it gave me quite the aversion, you know, I'm definitely certainly not going to do it anytime soon. I'm just going to, if they can't make that energy soup without that Rejuvelac in it, I'm totally just not going to eat it. I'll just eat some watermelon and whatever else my body's craving. But yeah, it was a banger, man. My head, for days, I was oh God. But I'm very curious too, though, how it shifted out. It shifted out on its own, even though I still had some, today, but still got the tummy aches. So,
what changed in you? What lined up with you? What did you move forward in your life? What did you complete?
Yeah.
I know.
There's one more component about food that I didn't mention, and some people have a hard time hearing this, but I consulted for 6 major health food stores in the United States and Hawaii. And we discovered that the word organic means it contains carbon. So when things are labeled as organic, like in the state of the state of California, those organic qualifications, that means only one thing, and that means it was grown under organic conditions. It wasn't sprayed, it wasn't pesticide. However, they don't tell you this. Once it's been harvested and it's ready to go to market, they can put wax on it. They can tamper with it. They can alter it. Why do you think you see organic apples and cucumbers with wax on it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I got really
The majority of the companies do it.
Yeah, said they did it with the coconut water. We used to buy green young coconuts and drink the coconut juice. The stuff in the can, not the same. Yeah.
Oh,
there's
it's
a lot of
putrid.
stuff in there.
Okay.
One thing.
Good.
So when I started transitioning from food, so I started with like a keto diet, and I lost I think like 30 pounds within a month. And so I learned from that. I was excited about the weight loss on that. And I loved meat at the time. So I would In-N-Out, cheese, and their secret sauce. And I would eat 2 patties of those. They call it the Flying Dutchman. So I started eating those like every day because it's close to work. Of course, that turned into constipation because my body cannot break that down. It shouldn't be in there. It can do it, but if you're constantly developing those acids and the body learns that you're going to eat that the next day or whatever, makes you crave on that keto diet, your acid levels are always high. And then of course the blood is, everything's, tampered with. But once I transitioned out of that whole keto, I went into clean keto and started eating more healthy vegetables, fatty vegetables, a lot of nuts. And we can't eat nuts. Our body's not designed to eat nuts. I ended up getting kidney stones over it. So I learned a lot about that. So you can make milk. So like nut milk, everything except for peanuts. Stay away from peanuts. But you can grab the nuts and throw them in water and put some droppers in there to purify the water, and then blend it and make it a milk, and then you're good with that. And then I went from keto to vegetarian to pescatarian to the whole thing, alkaline, all the way up to where I am now. But when I was transitioning out of foods and I started doing the fasting, I would fast 2-3 days and just eat one single item all day, and then observe what my body does, how it reacts, what kind of hydration does my body feel? Am I super thirsty? Am I not thirsty at all? How much energy do I get? How long it lasts? What is the maximum peak on a 1 to 10? I make the levels. I know what those levels mean to me because my body's unique. And then, so one thing that I learned on the sweet potato, especially if you're fasting or you're not, like super full of water, then what that sweet potato does, at least to me, when I ate it, I felt dehydrated, like it drained everything. And it's so heavy for it to process. The body has to do a lot of work to remove that and break it down. And so the digestion program that our body has, and we have to look at this body as like a robot, the most advanced technology on the planet that has been gathered from all consciousness, all levels, the plants, everything. So this is what we created, this robot in flesh that rebuilds itself. It's amazing. So it works really hard to break that down. And then if you're not bringing in the water, then what happens is your body will release a lot of mucus for it to go down. So it gets covered in mucus and it goes down and it goes into waste. So you're creating that mucus and then it gets just heavier and heavier and heavier. Well, in order to create the mucus, you have to release water from somewhere. And usually for something like that, most of it, we get it from the top. It releases from the top down. So when that happens, then you end up with, like eye problems and stuff like that. But mainly the headaches come from, in my experience, it has been every time I ate a food that dehydrated me completely. So I would have these, like, it's almost like a pounding headache. It's not real sharp, not hard.
Oh, yeah.
Like right in the back, just at the top, just kind of, it's just there. It's like a
and
soft
it went
little
down
drum.
my neck. It went down the sides of my neck too, and it was
Yes.
brutal.
Yep. I had the same exact thing. Yay, you're cleansing your body. That's amazing.
I tell you, I'm not going near the sweet potato. Man. Damn.
Yeah. So because we are water, we should be consuming things that are of water. And then I went down that whole rabbit hole with the food, organic and non-organic, and I wanted to learn that so I can teach my kids, so they know it, and now they know it. So we would go to the stores, and I would have them pick out the stuff and explain to me, the GMO foods, the hybrid foods, the foods that are not in season, because if you buy organic and it's in season, it's not in season in your area. They had to bring it in from somewhere, so of course it's going to have the stuff that's going to protect it so it can sell, because it's a business. You cannot be honest in business when it comes to food. You have to make sure you meet your quota, and so you will do what you got to do, and that's correct. After they pick it, they can spray the exact same chemicals to make it to your superstore. So and that's something right now that they're working on. They got Amazon Fresh that is coming around, and they're going to try to make everything localized to you, so you don't have to drive to the other side of town. That's why they want to push the electric cars, limited range. I mean, those batteries could be made to last longer. I'm in that engineering field, and my mind works amazing. But so they're going to do with that, the Amazon Fresh. They're going to start bringing in these GMO foods. Okay, stay away from those foods. Find a local farmer, a local nursery. Get yourself some fruit trees that you could eat. You don't need to eat a lot. When you need it, just have it there. Your oranges, whatever it is. There's a lot of farmer markets. I like going around looking farmer markets.
Yeah.
And then just get what you're going to need for that, for that day or for the week, just to have it there, because that food is not going to last more than a week. So you just want to have it there, and then before you eat it, put it in the sink and fill it up with urine and just let it sit. And say a prayer, bless my food. And it's not food, it's medicine.
Exactly.
It's medicine. So it's not food. So we don't need food. It's medicine. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to share about that sweet potato. And then the stomach stuff, what I would get that is from like food combinations that would cause fermentation in my stomach. So I would get that. It would create an alcohol type of feel, and it would burn. And as you start cleaning yourself more and more with the urine, you'll find that your stomach is alive. It feels. It's no longer numb. So you'll be very selective on what you want and don't want in the body, because otherwise you're going to get the burn.
Yeah.
So you're in tuning your body.
Ernie, what I just posted it to the chat group is there's only two reasons we get sick. It's either what you eat or what's eating you.
I love that.
I'm not talking parasites.
No, that's true. By the
way, parasites show up when you let things bug you, when you let things pester you and trigger you and set you off. Parasites are opportunistic. They'll go, here's a weak host. I'm jumping on board.
Yeah.
No, I have a different view of the parasite.
Hit us. Tell us.
They're still they're still coming in to clean up, just like the fungals. They're still trying to clean up the environment. The environment has gone anaerobic. Like I said, there's alcohol production, then parasite, everything's pleomorphin. And the parasites are doing they've got to a point of extremity within this environment that's why they're in that form. And you start changing that environment and they will revert back, or you will expel them. There is no need to flush them out with all kinds of stuff. Yeah. I mean, you can do that, but you're going against the natural process of your body. So you're going to compromise systems. So the best way is to allow your body to do it naturally. And, I don't know any other way. Like, people ask me now, and I don't know any other way but urine.
Change the environment.
I can't recommend anything else to anybody but urine. It's like, urine will clean up the preservatives on the food, like soaking it. It'll break all the biology will break them preservatives down. It'll break toxins down, the whole thing. I don't know anything else that won't do it. This is magic.
Now, is that with the fresh urine? Is that the fresh urine that you're cleaning the vegetables off with, or the Evolve?
Yeah, I do fresh.
Fresh. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I do fresh. But yeah, I mean, you can use the Evolve too. I'd rather use the Evolve for my skin or something else, you know, for the bones or a foot bath. But yeah, it'll do what it's gonna do.
Well, this
the
is
other
interesting.
yeah, the parasite thing, I agree with Fiona on the same thing. And the reason our body has the parasites to begin with is because we're putting junk in there. So they're in there to clean up.
Yep.
However, they do have, on a spiritual level, they do have you know, certain vibration, and a vibration is, you know, just the energy, the pulsations of the energy. And so it'll attract that negativity, and it'll make you react a certain way or act a certain way, and or crave a lot of that, whatever it's cleaning up. It'll crave more and more and more to make more parasites, and before you know it, they create their own little mega structures in there, because you're just feeding the same stuff. And that, you know, that's also attached to the emotional part of it. I'm still, you know, dealing with that and healing with all that emotional that's attached to that. What I did early on was a few detox with teas, and I have a video where like they're coming out of my skin. They were colony. My kids were like freaking out because it was everywhere, and they just started like little white heads coming out, and then they just literally just come out of my skin, and mainly like on my sweat glands. That's where they were coming out. On my arms, you can see them, and it's funny too because my my youngest son saw his older brother, and he had like a white head on his nose. He thought, "Dad, he's got parasites."
Aliens.
Yeah, he's got parasites, like out in public, just real loud. Oh, it was so embarrassing for him. But
oh God.
But yeah, and then so I got obsessed with that whole parasite thing, cleaning it, everything, and it changed everything. It slowed down a lot. It made me super tired. I was really emotional and more depressed than anything, because I changed their whole system. I changed everything. And so now there was more junk and so on. And once I started with the urine, then I didn't have to worry about anything. Like it just goes in and does what it's going to do. It's going to restore you to your authentic you. And it's going to bring you back to your childlike moments. Like you just want to be a child. It's so pure and so innocent and so beautiful. It's, man.
It's
I'll share a video in the chat in our chat later. I'll send a video. Just
So
my happiness
sensitive?
right now is insane. Oh, very sensitive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so where you're at, you're ready to just go like full ham. You're already there. So what I recommend is from this moment forward, start having only one type of medicine all day, and journal it, how your body feels, what it's doing, what does the stool look like, you know, what does the urine taste like, your energy level. I mean, things that you want to know what this is going to do for you, because what it's going to do for you is not going to be the same for somebody else, depending on what their system is inside, you know, and the emotional and all of that too. So once you find your favorite foods and your go-to of where you want to be, if you're, you know, going to go to the beach and this is what watermelon does. Oh, that's a watermelon day. That's, you already know that's a watermelon day. Oh, you want to chill and relax, but feel fresh. And, you know, oh, that's a cucumber day. And just blend everything into juice and just drink it, sip on it, and allow the body to absorb it and feel it and do what it's going to do. Just sip. We're not designed to chug. We chug this. I try not to. I try to, you know, swish as much as possible. But if you can blend it into that, and once you find your foods that are going to make you the super you, then you will know. You will know.
Yeah, and this is interesting too. So we have a farm and we do our own thing and we do organic and this and that. And then what I'm eating at the Institute is organic. But I'm starting to wonder, you guys, something's up, because my stomach didn't hurt and all of that business, right? But, you know, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not calling anybody out. I just really kind of don't really want to get involved in all that. But how sensitive, I mean, do we become like sensitive on steroids to things like pesticides, herbicides? I mean, is it like off the Richter scale once we start getting a lot of the urine in us? And, you know, because before I really could tell you, I didn't notice. I could go from the farm to work and there was never even a skip in my beat. But now, oh, no. There's something definitely different between those two foods. So,
wow. I think because we're purifying the body more, and now we're more aware of our body, what it's doing, and we notice, you know, there's that part of it. But as we clear everything out, like anything that you bring in foreign that is not God consciousness,
right,
you're gonna know, you're gonna see it. So yeah, and I don't focus on telling people, you know, oh, this and this has got that, because I realized that I came in heavy with that, and I ruined a few relationships trying to tell them, you know, what they need to do and why and all that. So what I started to do is just not participating them, thank them, you know, for the invitation, and you're grateful that you thought of me, you know, and wanted to help me and feed me, and, you know, I love you, thank you for that. But I'm gonna pass on that, and, you know, if they start seeing you pass on certain things, they're gonna ask you because they're gonna be curious, and just say, oh, you know, if you're interested, we can go for a walk and I can explain. It's kind of complicated, and then you just get into your practice, right? What you're doing, and here's
a suggestion for you, Sophina, or anybody who's listening to this. The days that you're fasting, when you go to break the fast and when you start to introduce a food, I mean, first of all, the best thing to introduce back in your body is fruit. But if you're going to introduce something like sweet potato, take small bites, take a small amount, give your body a chance to integrate it and get the information. So maybe you can get ahead of any kind of adverse reactions or headaches because you catch it ahead of time.
Yeah, I have to tell you guys, I mean, I do like, you know, some whole foods, but if you listen to the body, the sweet potato does not resonate with me anymore. It's just not, I'm not doing it. The watermelon, man, good Lord. Yeah, it's so bad. But yeah, it's totally becoming a fruit thing. And, you know, and I did do a few days of the OMAD, you know, with one of the specific fruits, like, you know, pineapple, nice. This, that. But you know what? I didn't do it long enough because I was so excited. I want to do some of this and some of that and some of that. So no, I'm going back. I'm going to go back to what you suggested, Ernie, and just kind of, and you know what else you should, I think I got started on the looping because I didn't have a container at work. And I was like, no, I'm not wasting all this. I'm just going to drink it all. I think when I go to work, I'm just going to follow the intuition. I'm not eating anything. I'm just going to have my medicine that my body provides. Yeah. And then when I get out of work, I can get home and have my watermelons and whatever we have at the farm. And I bet you anything, no headache. I bet you a lot of this stuff kind of just goes away.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll go back to your natural self.
Exactly. Pharmacy.
I like that.
So this is my farm, a C.
Exactly.
You've got liquid health food store. This is your health food store in a jar.
Yep.
And it's the best money. It's the best nutrition no money can buy.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, we get really sensitive. Where I'm at right now, like it's intense. So just be prepared for that. But here's the practice, right? And having control of our body as well. Those emotions cannot control us, and that's a great practice for me, because now I feel like I'm powerful. Like you can say whatever you say, and I'm just all smiles, and I still love you. It doesn't matter what comes out of your mouth. Like,
oh yeah, that's true. It's like something goes on. It's like this joy. The joy comes like bounding out.
Oh man, I love it.
Everyone's like Ernie is still in his. He's still in his womb. He's still in his lovely bubble of love.
I'm gonna go get a tattoo on my neck that'll say just piss bliss.
That's a conversation.
On the back, it'll just say, "Forget what you heard about it." Like, there you go. Yeah.
I got a ton of these. I made like hundreds of these, getting ready for everybody to jump on the slogan. So, if you guys want any of these, I got them in different sizes.
You got little ones?
A lot of those.
A blue one?
Do you have like little ones too? I want to donate and get some. Oh yes. Oh,
these are cool.
I'll message you. I want to donate and get some of those and hand them out. Oh yeah. So
can you read that?
Yeah.
Living
Waters Matters. Yeah.
What else I got?
Those in a clear with like a clear background on black letters would be awesome. You can put that on your bumper.
I already did.
And then those that see it.
So my mom found out.
They'll ask you.
My mom found out because Brother Sage sent the urine one to my mom's home.
Accidentally.
And, oh, that's okay. And she said, "Honey, are you? What's going on?" I said, "Oh, Mom, let me tell you something."
Let me tell you something.
That was an interesting conversation, Fiona.
Nice.
She's on board though. She's actually going to start doing foot soaks and rubbing her hands in it. But she said she's not on board with drinking it yet. And I said, "You know what, Mom? It's all about the little baby steps. Don't worry about it. You don't have to do that. You move at your pace. And if you're not even ready for that and you just want to think about the conversation, then leave it at that. No problems, no worries." So she is going to start the hand washing and the foot soaking. So we're on our way with Mama Song.
So how many people are leaving a urine therapy book on the coffee table in the living room or on the tank in the toilet? So when people have some downtime, they can read about your interesting hobby.
You know, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I leave it in my car on the passenger seat.
That works really well. Now, when this magic philanthropist shows up in my life, and I know that he or she will, then part of my vision was to be able to send out free copies of books to all the libraries in America and wellness practitioners, naturopaths, to see if they're willing to get behind it and get that information to their practice.
Let's do that.
Are you the philanthropist? Oh.
No, but I have a great vision for that, and I'm really good at that.
Good. Well, let's talk, and I'll tell you about my big vision about traveling and opening up outreach centers and programs around the world.
Yeah. Okay. I'm into that
very
too.
Good with that too.
Maybe we can try to do something like that, you guys, like next year, because we have a really big farm. Well, we're not ready, but next year I'll have places to put everybody. I mean, we'd have to, but we could certainly talk about it. And I don't even want to charge. I just want to do by donation. That's it.
I'm in. Count me in on that.
Yep.
We can do talks. We can do lucid dreaming. We can do a fast. Oh man.
And if it helps, Sofina, I already have a nonprofit ministry, so you could go under the umbrella and say, well, it's the Water of Life Ministry, or whatever words you like.
Oh my God.
It's happening, you guys. It's happening.
Oh my God.
There's more things in place than you realize to make this movement explode.
Oh my God.
I'll bring my microscope.
Absolutely, yes. Fiona. That would be the greatest.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Rosario, you're going to join us and give people massages. So what are you going to do?
I'm just here listening to you guys. It's like I don't have to say anything. You just see it all. Honestly, it's amazing. I think the motivation, especially in such a short period of time, to be able to contribute with my experience and hopefully with, others will experience as well in such a short period of time. And that motivation. And I was just thinking actually early on this morning that sometimes it's like you said last time, it's not what we say or, like the efforts we're putting in. Sometimes for some people that works is actually the change they see in us. They just look and they just want to know what you're doing. They just want to know what you're doing, why you're looking like this, or why you don't have this condition anymore. So, yeah, absolutely. All sorts of things I can contribute. I just don't want to, spill all the beans, but there's so many ways to go about it. And nowadays, like I said, especially with the young people, I think it's a shame Emily's not here today, but like she said, there's such a force for change at the moment. They're open to try things, obviously not everybody, but the majority. Is just, I think is amazing. It's something that definitely is going to have a good contribution when it comes to Asian therapies and obviously UT and other things. So I'm very positive about it. Very, very positive.
Amen to that.
I love it.
Very good. I agree with you. And it seems to me that the consciousness, the collective consciousness has been broken open to receive information and get a new perception of reality that we never would have considered before. So it's like you couldn't have been at a better time in our history to be talking about the subject and be able to be the messenger to deliver it to those who are desperate for health and healing. So,
and it's free. It's free, brother Sage. It's free.
It's free, and it's not multi-level marketing.
And you don't have to have a prescription for it, and you don't have all that business. Yeah. No.
Yes.
Yeah. All you need to get well is
yes.
your hand or a cup.
Yeah. Exactly. The first thing people are going to ask is how much does it cost if they don't know what it is. But once they find out, especially with people being hit with economic crisis at the moment, because what is happening, as soon, no, you've got it already. No need to purchase anything. No need to go on Amazon and just be ordered. You've got it already. So
yes, and if there was such thing as the big FU to all these stores and corporations, we've got it, because you don't have to spend money to all these corporations, and you can put that money into your family, yourself, etc.
And the retreat and the yurts, and being able to have a place for people to come to as a sanctuary, so we can just get bigger and better and faster. And it's just
No.
Oh my goodness.
Great timing.
So on a lot of my dreams have been all related to children. Everything in my vision is children. Everything. So there's I'm not sure if you guys know the difference between the vision and a dream. But the vision is something that is going to show up in your future based on the vibration that you are experiencing in your environment. Every now and then, if you're not fully aligned, but you're close, you'll get a glimpse of the vision, like something that will either happen tomorrow, the next day, and then we call it deja vu. But we're not present enough to understand or like really be present in the vision. We kind of get glimpses of stuff because we're not fully relaxed, and we're not walking around in the vision and observing everything. I look at clocks, I look at calendars when I'm in these visions. Anywhere there I'm at, I look for the calendars and the clocks. What time is it? And look at the year on the calendar.
You still
started observing those. What's that?
Are you? I thought you were an eternal, timeless being. I don't know.
We all are. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And then the dream is just basically what's happening either in your environment, where you can observe, where you had some discomfort. It could be emotional if you were angry about something, or you're angry about somebody else's situation that is not even in your house. The gossip thing and all that, and judging people and all that madness. So we go into that, and that's what our dreams are created of. So the dreams are created based on our current environment. There is some things that will, that you can see the change. It'll be in there. You just got to go in there and observe everything of what is the dream? What is it showing you? Is it showing you your current? It's just showing you a mirror of something. And then, we have influencers in there that show up and help with that if we're present for that too. A lot of my visions have all been about children. I visualize myself completely out in the woods, where I don't need anything else. And that's, the voice I always keep hearing is stop eating, stop eating, stop eating, and training my body to be out there. And my vision was coming down to the cities and listening for the cry of the children, so then I can get them on my back and run back to where we need to be if we're driven to that point. And there's no fear behind any of that because we have everything we need. So, and everybody that's with us at that point, can just drink their essence, and there's nothing to fear. We're in freedom. But I had, my own ego step in and try to create all of this because I know how to create all that. And but yeah, it wasted about 6 months of my life. My time just kind of didn't go anywhere because I was trying to find the avenue how to reach mothers, because I figured that was the way, to reach them and then explain to them what this is, and their kids, and the importance of their purity and everything that needs to be, so they can be prepared for what's coming, so they can be able to navigate and not live in fear and create love and bring us back to our natural origins. That's where the name came from. And I tried the whole mother approach too, but there's a lot of pain there. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of masculine energy, which is beautiful, and I'm so glad. But there's also a lot of fear, a lot of hurt, a lot of broken women. So the communication is not there for me. At least it's not yet, because it's my own communication. I'm not letting it flow. I'm not letting it out. And then the other night, the vision that I had was that I need to be the example for the males and explain what our women are going through during this time period and what they have experienced in the past, so men can better understand what's going on. But more importantly, we are designed to love you. We are designed to love you and protect the children. That is in our nature. That is the masculine energy, 100%. And a lot of women have it, and I love it. I'm like instantly drawn, like boom, like I know who you are. You know what I mean? Thank you, because single mothers and all of that. Yeah. So by us living the example is what we're gonna vibrate around.
Are you educating mothers, aka sisters, in healing their birth trauma?
No, that is something that I'm doing with now, and understanding, and I think that's the first thing that should be done, but not just for sisters, for everyone.
Yeah, well, I agree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're getting a more universal approach, but you started talking about saving the children, and for me, a lot of the work I've been doing now, I was a nutrition salesman for many, many years. But when I got into urine therapy, my whole approach changed from selling people on a product to selling them on themselves.
Yeah.
So this also includes healing the inner child and all the adults,
yes,
who have somehow disconnected or disassociated with their curiosity and their playful nature and their imagination.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, imagination. Yeah.
So if we can reactivate that as well as reminding people of their innocence, boy, you will have done a really good world of service.
Okay, we'll talk. I'm ready.
Yes, well, let's get you and your message out there. Whenever you're ready, we get that out there.
Maybe Ernie, you'll do like an interview, like I don't know what we call them, a podcast or whatever that stuff is, but maybe something like that.
Oh, like the one Fiona and I are gonna do?
Yes, that would be nice.
When is that, Fiona? Is that next week or this week?
I don't know. You didn't say a day. You guys give me a day, dude, and
give them a date.
Move things
all right,
around.
Let's do next Thursday, 6 p.m. or 7 p.m.
6 is best, because I like to get ready for bed by 7, 8.
Me too. That's why I'm saying everything's calm by then. I'm already, after I'm done, I'm just leaning back and I'm out.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And everything you said, it's beautiful, the whole vibration of what you want to bring and what you are bringing and who you are, and remembering that walks with you within your environments that you walk in, and that's informing, you know, because I've noticed that some people I come into contact with, and you know, I've not said nothing, I've not done anything, and they're suddenly inquiring, and I'm like, who is that? Well, what? Who? What? You know, and it's like they're picking up on something that's different. It's like, like their curiosity or their imagination gets turned, and they look in that direction. It's like, what's that about? I think I might want a little bit of that. You know, it's like me here listening to all you. I'm like, I want a little bit of that. Brother Sage, want a little bit of Safina. Want a bit of that. You know, and it's all like,
I feel the same about all y'all. Exactly.
You'll have something to put it together. I want to see the whole blend, like we're doing right now.
Wow.
You know, I look at like my urine now, like the pH is like off the chart. I've never drunk 7.8, like, you know, anything. And it's like, wow, what's that like, you know, etherically, energetically. And my daughter's studying.
Spiritually.
Yeah, my daughter's studying like, women in history and art. And she's going right back into this Greek stuff. And she's saying, look, I want to read this to you. You tell me what you think, and I'll tell you what I think. So she starts telling me all about this alchemy that they were doing back then, and the different elements and the soul and all this. And she looked at me and said, what do you think they're talking about, Mom? I said, well, I think it might be something about phosphorus and urine. She went, I knew it. I thought the same thing. So she's like putting stuff together, and she's not even fully like, you know, drinking and embodying it. So we are like impacting our family, our friends, our soul groups, you know, and it's not just like, it's like the other side of the planet. Like, you know, look at all us. We're from all different parts. We're hooked in, we're tapped in with each other, and that within whatever matrix, we find a way to get together and share and infuse. I like to think we infuse the environment with our vibe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so on that, what I was taught is that when we go to sleep, our conscious side of, you know, the masculine side of consciousness goes to sleep, and the feminine takes over, and she creates. Right? She's a creator. You give a woman, you know, ingredients, she'll make a meal. You give a woman semen, she'll give you a baby. You give her shit, you're going to get a lot of shit.
Yeah.
You know, so it's on that level, in our dream, wherever we are at, as far as vibration goes, and our whole entire day, and the very last thing we thought about going to sleep, that will change the frequency. So you're only able to download whatever is on that frequency line across the world, because we live on a battery.
And some call it a bandwidth. They can only communicate with a certain bandwidth.
Right. So the higher you start vibrating, especially going into your sleep, and gratitude and thank you for this, play your whole day backwards before you go to sleep, and make sure that every action was there and you're happy with it. And if you're not, let it go at that moment, and rest yourself. And so you can separate your body from your spirit. Your magnetic body will step out. And that's what everybody feels, is the magnetic body. Everybody feels that when you walk into, like Fiona was saying, or, you know, and they see you, like they want that. That's your magnetic field that you are magnetizing yourself to in that energy field. And then so when we separate and we go into our cosmic body, that's where everything's at. That is, we're home. So but yeah, so that's how we are able to communicate, and not just us, all plants, all trees, all animals. You know, there's 100 monkey experiment. You can look at that on YouTube. I can think it's still probably out there. You know, where they they taught the monkeys how to wash their fruit, and then pretty soon they started seeing that on other islands. You know, the monkeys started washing their fruit. So that's how we communicate. And then that goes into the pyramid thing. Oh, I got hours on that stuff. Oh, I love it. Yeah, we can talk forever on that. But none of that is helpful. It is, but it's not. Like, you know, our focus should be us. Like those that went that rabbit holes, you know, that learned it and most of all experienced it, they can talk about it. But like us, we should focus on ourselves. But yeah, so that's how we influence the world, right? By being our authentic self, our natural self, and little by little, everything's just going to come, and pretty soon there's going to be so much of it that they can't escape us. They can't be out in the store or walking around at a park without feeling our energy, without feeling our consciousness, the God consciousness of all creation. It's just, oh man.
Goosebumps.
Meditate, 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 meditate.
I was going to walk out into the woods and never come back.
Yeah.
No, don't say that.
I always said
come
when
back
I was like,
a little bit.
I always said when I was a kid, I always used to say to my mom, I said, why don't people understand how powerful they are? I could never figure out that humans had like so much power and potential. And as a child, I couldn't understand the way everybody behaved and acted and spoke and listened to the news and the stories, and nobody was doing anything different. And I was just had this whole thing about Lady Godiva riding naked on a horse through the streets, you know, and Joan of all this stuff as a child. And I'm like, what's wrong with people? Don't they understand if they just didn't tap into this bullshit, they could change the world? And that is it. We don't realize how fucking powerful we actually are. And as me as a being, I'm only learning, because I'm only just been like introduced to something that was missing all my life, you know, those parts where you get indoctrinated with. And I'm like, wow, we're pretty and I'm like, and I listen to you and where you're at, like Ernie, and I'm like, wow, we are like powerful, man. We are powerful. We have no fucking clue how powerful we are.
No. And here's that to your dream of you having those things. That is what you were here to bring, and not to create what you saw, but that's where imagination is, and God is imagination. That is the base, the solid material of all creation, of all of our existence. Everything is the imagination, and God is the imagination. And Ernie, I can give you
Ernie. Let's hear from Sofina. She can only be here for one more hour, and we're going to take a mini break in about 3 or 4 minutes. So Sofina.
Yeah. Hey, I actually have to go now. So I just wanted to tell you guys I've enjoyed this immensely. And I'm so glad that you, Brother Sage, just came into our life. It was divine timing. And then you made the grad group. So it's like, you know, this extension, it just stays, and it's like this infinity. And I just love every one of you guys. I think this is amazing. And I just got to go a little bit early though today, but I'm very thankful for all of you and all of your knowledge and your wisdom, and we're all learning together. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. So thank you guys so much. I'll reach out to you tonight when I get done with my work and stuff, and just, you know, listen to the other end of this and enjoy every minute of it.
Sofina, congratulations for completing the 6-part series. You can now frame your certificate and show it off.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful afternoon, and I know we're going to talk soon.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys soon.
You
too. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Kisses.
This isn't our last call.
She looked like a movie star with just a little bit of wind with it.
That was funny. I can hear the people laughing in the background. They're
So we're going to take a little 3-minute break and then come back.
Yes.
If you need if you need 5 minutes, that's cool. Hi, Lynn.
Hey. Sorry I'm late. I had some unexpected stuff happen.
No problem. We started off with a glitch in the matrix, and people like Rosario took 3 tries, and Fiona couldn't get her micro. I couldn't hear her, and so you dialed us in. Good job.
Thank you. get in because my phone is not charging. Okay, oh, it is charging.
So I hope that the work and the commitment that Indira and I have been doing for her husband Vijay in the rehab center will influence people to start giving more Oran Shivambu massages, facials, foot treatments, hair for other people. I'm using his urine, my urine, Indira's urine, whatever we have, just to saturate him so he can change everything and walk out of there anytime.
Yay.
When he gets out of there, I would like to get on a call with him.
Yep. Just remind me, I'll set it up. You're talking about just a small group, small intimate group?
Yeah, we could either do group or we can do individual. I'd like to have him hear me out.
No, my question is, are you considering this as a private conversation or something you would share publicly?
I would share publicly. I would share everything publicly at this point. I can't be two people. It's too much.
Right.
You can't play two characters. So yeah, you know, I just whatever. And this goes moving forward as we're going to be working together. Always know that what I say is me, and I stand behind everything that I say. And whatever I'm concerned with, or feel that it's not the proper time, I just don't mention that.
Okay. Yeah. I would be thrilled to see him participate in the community. It's been a while. If you go back to my YouTube channels, you can see some of the times where he was on some of our conference calls. And so, yeah, it'd be nice to have him more engaged with the community again, because I'm thrilled. We had the talk about how come you and Indira didn't have kids? Well, they made a decision at the beginning of their marriage not to have children. But now, after them being together and Vijay having a successful professorship at Colorado University for like 35 years, he's got millions of kids in the world as his students. That's his legacy. And I'm the same way. My wife had her tubes tied. We never had kids, but I've been working with people in the tens of thousands for all these years. So those are my kids.
Are you calling us your kids?
Yes. Is that okay?
Daddy Sage.
I have a few years on some people. I don't know what that is.
I would have to call you brother, still brother Sage.
That works for me. I'll be your big brother.
I'll give you a hint.
Also,
I'll give you a hint. I was known as a brat as a kid.
I know you could have had me. You could have had me at 17.
Wait,
that
did you say?
No, 15, 14.
What were we talking about?
No, I'll say for you to, for me to be your child, you would have to have me at 14.
At 4? Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, you know, there are people get pregnant at 12.
Yeah.
12 and 14.
Oh, yeah.
For whatever reason.
If we go to the ancient times and, you know, the stories that we hear, how the world was created, you know, 12, 13. Yeah. It was a different world anyway.
A different innocence.
Yeah, it was a different world.
And we're in a different we're on a different time.
Absolutely.
And also the time thing, that's, you know, I know people talk about the whole, it's an illusion, but they don't really understand it. At least the people that I've heard talk about it. But for us, if you're counting years, it's a clock, and that clock is a man-made clock. Whatever you tell your body and how you feel about that clock, it's going to be a direct reflection of your health. So it's a man-made illusion is what I call. So you'll hear me say these a lot. Like when you hear me say man-made illusion, I'm speaking about something that was created by man for a purpose. And that purpose is just a clock to reduce our physical time here. And then the man-made simulation, it's the whole big picture of it. And there's so many cool stuff in there that I found and understood. And then I went, you know, in dreams and asked of all the rabbit holes that I was in. I'm like, okay, explain this to me. And they would explain everything that they felt was information for us to know. Other than that, they would just look at me weird or make faces or laugh at me, and I'm just like, what? I'm serious. Like, this is what I want to know. And they're just like, okay, like, don't waste our time. Like, you're going to come in here and ask yourself, how is that going to help others? Right? Because we are right now in the feminine side, we are about others. We have to shift that energy and get rid of the masculine greed side and bring that down so it doesn't exist anymore. And the women and everybody and the children have to move forward with that feminine energy of love, and it's about others, not self. Self is still masculine. Self is still, and that's a whole nother spirituality illusion that they've created around all of that, and I can talk about that too.
Well, I have a similar thing that I've had going on, and I love your feedback. For many years, people use the expression higher self. They go, well, I'm going to check in with my higher self. Well, if you think about it, if there's a higher self, what does that say about you? You're the lower self. Yeah. Well, now my understanding is that it's all consciousness. So where you understand, what are you aware of, what is your consciousness at the moment, determines the quality of your experience in the moment. And when you change your perception and when you expand into an infinite understanding, then you are your quote higher self.
Yeah. So the higher self concept is also a man-made illusion that is portrayed in different cultures and different religions, and that was brought to them. That wasn't theirs. The self, worrying about myself. That's also the same thing for different cultures. So it was all given, and then there's the Christ consciousness was more along the lines of the natural law, the natural way of being, but of course everything was twisted there and changed to fit the rest of them. So there was three large cult groups that began that whole movement, and yes, they were male. And and that's how they were able to get the women to submit and just be kings of their world. So yeah, there was three cults, and how it began was same a couple of tribes that shared the same ideology, and it spread from there, tribe to tribe, and before you know it, it was a consciousness level in the globe, and we started seeing that in different islands, different parts of the world, where men started dominating women in that same aspect. So there's that.
They invented the religion, and they invented missionaries.
Yes.
Supposedly they were going to indigenous tribes to give them Christianity,
to convert them to their ways of living so they can come and live like kings.
And steal their resources and get their oil and whatever, their land. Yeah. That hasn't changed.
Yeah. No, we're still living in that, but like I said, it's crumbling, and they're desperate, and women need to rise up and know their power. Women need to, heal. That's really important. They have to heal, because although they've used that hurt to drive them and push them through, not a lot of women receive that masculine energy because they're still feminine, and that's where they operate from, out of love. So it's very difficult for them to play both roles at the same time. So they kind of get stuck in between. So there's never a good balance in their life. It's always like hyper protective mode and let me love you and make you some hot tea and rub your feet kind of love. So there's that. But if they heal and understand that everything that they have gone through is just an illusion, it's not, it's just an experience, but it's not us. That's not who we are.
Ernie, the question I have is, who came up with the concept that this is a male quality, a female quality, versus compassion, sensitivity, harmony, and love is divine quality that we get to express as a human, and you can identify as male or female.
Correct. So there's in the cosmic body, there's not bodies. There's a cosmic body. And in that cosmic body, you can receive or create certain energies and certain things that we've already created. Certain plants have, the balances. So, but that is a man-made concept as well, because what they actually did was they just grouped certain attributes and certain strengths and certain things in one side and called it masculine, and then made the female. but it's just a group of things of how they operate together. That what those things create as far as vibration, which is love, is to serve others. That's that energy. So the man created that whole thing. I speak on that because it's easier for people to receive it and understand what it means. But once they get to the cosmic body and reside in the cosmic body, they're going to understand that what Ernie is saying doesn't make sense.
I agree
Yeah,
100%.
They see it from cosmic consciousness.
Yes.
It's a total.
There's only one body, one consciousness. Like, that's it. There's no masculine and female. That doesn't exist. And we all were created from that feminine, from love. We were all created from that. Our body started as a female and became, male, and so on and so on.
You remind me of me in some ways, about how I've been spending many, many years trying to unravel spiritual language, because it always seemed either limited or critical. For example, the term levels. I've always had fun with this one, because people say, well, I get it on one level, I don't get it on another level. But okay, that's fine. You understand where you're at. That's what you understand. It's not a level. That's your current understanding of consciousness. But the trap is when people get into criticizing other people because they're not at the same level I'm at.
Yeah.
And you've heard that before. Well, Fiona, she's at another level. She won't get it. No.
Yeah, but as we stay in our practice and be ourselves and truly worry about healing ourselves, so we can then go out into the world and love everything else, love everything else exactly the same way we love ourselves and feel about ourselves, then that's all we have to do. And the more we do it, the more it spreads, and it just keeps going. And we will return to that cosmic body when our movie's over. And we'll be there, and we'll find each other and be like, hey, how was that? That was cool. Let's go do it again, but let's go over here.
Yes. And one thing, because that just reminded me of something that's been going on in my mind, and it's around just the word intention. And I was sitting with intention, and with working with the urine and blood and water and everything, and been down the whole Emoto thing and the thing with Vader Austin and everything. And this is going to be a biggie, because this is just something that's really coming up for me. And it's I wrote, the word went intent on, and it was control. It was intent on, and it came from the energy of controlling. And I was show me more then. So I saw the experiment that people want to do with water. They will isolate a small amount of water, put it by the Wi-Fi, and go, oh, look what 5G and Wi-Fi does to water. And I sat with it, and then I saw the huge, massive body of water. And it was when you separate us and put us in toxic environments, and you take us away from the bigger body that holds us, that's powerful, that will happen. But you try and take that Wi-Fi and put it by the beach where the ocean is, you're not going to impact it.
Nope.
So I was like, I'm taking that word intention out, because they said it's not about intention. There's already a deeper knowing. It's like me looking at the urine, and I'm like, how's this possible? And I'm like, there's a deeper knowing that's at work here, that's doing its thing, that's, I don't know. It was I see it as it's when people go in mass prayer and can affect their environment. It's the same thing, but it's when they isolate us and separate us, and we feel separate, we come under more of that. We're more compromised by the systems, the institutions, all that stuff, because we've become disconnected.
That also redirects us to go into outer. It takes us off our inner knowing, our inner hearing, our inner connection, and those are all designed to steal our attention from it.
Yes.
Yeah. We start living for or preparing for the next life, and it's no, we're here.
Lynn, did you want to share something?
Yeah, I want to add something. I find that it's, because I've heard like the word they do this and they set this up, and I find it's like we set it up.
We did.
We've set it up. And what I mean by that is like my mom or her mom have bought stuff made from Campbell's in a can, threw that out. Spaghetti, plastic in a can, threw that out. My mom did that, bought Cheerios, box, plastic, right? From genetically modified, monocultured. I did that for a while. You know, and I think that it comes to like our society, our culture has set this up for us. I think it becomes a choice of like what we decide to do next and how to influence others. And I find for myself, I find that they didn't do this to us. I feel like I did that, like we did this together in some way. And if we begin speaking like they've done this and we, you know, they've set this up in a toxic world. Well, I know I had my part, you know, and you guys know
I do. And I agree 100%. We, like I said, through conscious energies is how we, you know, we got everything across to the other islands, wherever the idea began. An idea can only come into creation when there's a receiving end of it that accepts it and says yes by agreement. So if I decided to say, hey, I'm gonna put water in a can and sell it, if you buy it, you're agreeing to my idea, and so we move forward with that.
Totally.
And that's how, you know, everything is created on the physical level. But you know, the spiritual level is just, it's still us creating everything. We're still creating this whole environment, but it doesn't work like that in the 3D environment. It doesn't work like that in the physical. So I agree with you as far as you know, being in our practice and speaking as loud as we can. Not to say that, hey, what you're doing is wrong, but look how I'm living and I don't need that. I don't participate in all that because I just don't need it.
And I think that people just notice it. Like I've had somebody here and they're like, so what have you been doing? You know, like, your girlfriend haven't seen her in a while,
is amazing.
Right? Yeah, and it's great. And I find that it's just so soft and gentle. And it's like, I mean, I have my kids, so it's more of a direct, like I could see a direct like impact of choice. Like my son's like, oh, I want to buy this. And I'm like, well, you know, I think I spoke about this with you guys before. Like, you know, if you buy that, well, you know, when your kids are going to have kids, that's still going to be here. You know, like it's your choice. So it's like, now, you know, but like now my kids are getting a little bit older and having like that choice, but also it's.
I love your way of thinking. I love it.
My parents bought all those things, from TV dinners to Cheerios to you name it, not because it was good or healthier, but it was convenient. And my mom didn't know any different. Nobody taught our parents nutrition. Nobody taught us about food combining and enzymes and chemistry. And so they had to wing it the best they could and consider themselves good parents.
Yeah, and considering that, you know, our parents too, like suddenly, oh my God, we live in a little box. We don't live within the community now, right? We don't have help from the community to help with the kids, right? Which we evolved with thousands of years. And it's only the last, 100 years, 150 years that we live in a little box. And, you know, like way we were raised, everybody was raised by somebody, didn't have help. And, you know, parents went freaking crazy. And they're like, sweet, cereal in a box. Here you go, kid. You know, that's like
a food restaurant. Whoa.
So I think that it's one of the reasons why I think it's so important to reach out to community for help, for whatever it is, right? It's like, oh my God, I can't get to those peaches which are in the tree over there because I'm taking care of the, you know, what do you call it? The pears, right? Can you go handle that and then we can trade? You know, like that creates glue. Collagen that brings us back together, right? And then help. And then it's like, oh my God, so wow, you look a lot better than you did like a week ago. What have you been doing? Oh, you're in therapy. You know, it just becomes a conversation. But we need to do this together.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree with Lynn, and I just wanted to add what Ernie was saying about us thinking, in helping others, and that this separatedness that has divided us, and Fiona touched on that as well, is the fact that someone was saying that really I am you and you are me. So, and that's the concept how we were created, and people forget about that because we are in this individualistic society that we all for ourselves, and getting all these material things, the people who do it anyway. And at the end of the day, they don't find happiness at the end of that, because only when we come into the spirit of community and knowing that the other one is suffering, I'm suffering as well, because I'm not going to be happy that I've got something and you don't. So it's that connectedness, the fact that we are one. And one of the things that for the, since this whole thing of lockdown and everything that we went through is something that has come through, especially through these groups, through other groups, is the fact that we all on the same boat. And that is so beautiful that the people are waking up to that realization. And at the moment, I don't know many people apart from the us versus them. I don't want to say the one. Yeah.
We got you.
Yeah.
It's the fact that when I read, when I connect, we all on the same boat, we all thinking the same way. Where is this going? But at the same time, like we spoke now, is we know what we want. We know what we want to happen. We know what we want to do to change things, like Ernie was saying, in his visions. But that's actually what a lot of people also are feeling. So, and just to the conclusion that, tapping into this consciousness that we can do things in this level, it will actually affect the material, the physical. So it's like living in two worlds. There are two worlds going on at the moment. So, and the more people we can pull into this one, the more
it's
leaves the other one.
the shift like I was explained is what got us in this mess is we stopped feeling what we're always chasing is that feel again. Everything is imagination and then feeling, and then we turn it into physical. That's God consciousness is imagination, feel, create it, and it becomes physical form or system or whatever. But when we detached from the soil is when we lost that connection to everything. We lost that feel of everything, of being whole, of being one. So we've been in this chase and created this whole virtual reality to feel again. That's what this whole physical plane is. This physical plane is that we left that feeling of connection, of everything, of oneness, one love, one everything. And that's when we started creating all this. And of course, our intellect, went super bonkers because of that. And we just, the evolution of consciousness just kept going and going. And I mean, we've created some pretty cool stuff. Like it's pretty rad. But but we've used it with different intention. There's the word.
Yeah.
I do believe, Ernie, that also that has happened between men and women, because not many people come across, obviously, listening to you as a man who has, not only the insight, and obviously you've observed, the struggles that women go through, but actually you going beyond that. You're looking into what's going on in their heart, in their mind, and in their bodies. And, you wouldn't believe that there are women out there that actually don't know that they're holding their sadness, their bad memories, their frustrations, their lack of realization in their womb. In their bodies, in their hearts. And that is dictating everything that they see in others, like, the way they treat men or treat their children, treat themselves. So,
or allowed to be treated,
Exactly. So, that is a bridge that maybe, a lot of men would do with, having the same kind of approach that you're having, or insight. Obviously is not, wishing too much, but hopefully we will get to that time where, we will see that we all the same. Yeah, you suffering, but I am suffering too. And one thing that I find is that sometimes people are just trying to mask what they're going through to impress others. And really, I'm hurting, but you hurting too. So if two people come together and say, yes, I am hurting because this happened to me, and oh, I am hurting, and then you find that actually we are one, we all on the same, in the same journey in this life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and those little
Yes.
smile clips people put on to put on the facade smile, that ain't holding on very
Oh,
well.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. And yeah, that, that whole thing just exists in that physical, reality. So we all feel the same hurt across the globe. And sometimes we feel, sadness, like just deep sadness all the way across the board. And we may not understand what it's about, but it's there. And that's where we are, where our energy's at that level. And so we receive it and don't understand it. But we've done so much things to our body um, physically throughout generations, that stuff that wasn't processed, and then it just came in memory form and cells and everything else, in the water, the memory in the water. I mean, there's so much. But
So
yeah,
that brings up a question, Ernie, or everybody here. Being energetically sensitive, you've heard that term before, feeling everything you feel, feeling everything everybody else feels, how are you able to participate in the world without being emotionally overwhelmed?
What I do is I observe what I'm feeling. I would say that I am present. I call it home. I tell my kids, home, like when we have a conversation and their eyes are not in my eyes, so I know they're not here with me. I cannot have a conversation without eyes to eyes, because that's not a conversation. I'm not speaking to the wall or the trees or whatever. When you see me wander like that, my mind is like somewhere else. But I have to slow everything down and be present. And me being present the majority of the time, I observe what I'm feeling, but I try not to figure out why I'm feeling it unless it's something that is directly in front of me. If it's something that's in front of me that's making me feel angry or sad or anxious, I have to look at my environment around, whatever my lenses are. These are camera lenses. Whatever these camera lenses are looking at, if there's nothing in my surrounding currently right now that's causing me to do that, then it's time for me to let it go. Now is not the time to process that. At the end of the day, during my reflection period, when I go back and try to see what happened throughout my day, starting from the moment I walked back home and then all the way to the very beginning of my day, I try to reflect back on everything of what I felt, where I was confused. And when I run into those, I'll be like, oh, this is for reflection time. And I'll just make a quick note, mental note, and then I go through it. And then I realize that a lot of the stuff is not mine. A lot of the stuff, whether it's still stuck in the body or not, it hasn't been made fully aware, or I was in a setting where I could just release it. If I'm in a setting where I could just release it and I feel like crying, or the body starts shaking, where you're going to get this emotional cry and you're going to let it out, and you're not going to be able to stop because it's just going to keep coming. If I'm in an environment like that, I just release it. It's not mine. It's not happening in my current environment right in front of me. So I let it go. I release it. And that's a practice. That's a practice because we are not, we've been indoctrinated not to feel and not to release, that it shows weakness. And so for me as a male, it's very difficult. And I try to create the moment and create the space for myself to release whatever is there. And during my reflection time, I make sure that my reflection time is somewhere where I can cry, somewhere I can get angry. If it was anger, then somewhere I can just yell and fuck this and fuck that and run and just until it's out, like fuck everything until it's out. And if it's anxiety, then I run it off. If it's cry, I also run it off. And I just cry and cry and cry and cry until I cry no more.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask everybody, what do you do when you feel stuck, paralyzed, or in no movement? I mean, I go for five days a week. I'm doing a 3.5 mile hike, and I like to go to these open fields where I can scream, I can cry, I can dance, I can sing loud, and no one's going to hear it. And it's very, very freeing to be able to do that, because how many times you just spend hours and hours in your day from here on up. Mm-hmm. And you're not connected to your emotions, your body, anything. And it shows. It shows.
Yeah, 95%, right, is subconscious programs. Who's that
You said-
McFuckery? Who's McFuckery?
Rosario,
No,
did you not get the email with everybody get the certificate? I emailed it all at once.
Oh, I didn't see mine there. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw it. It's on the email.
Fiona, I'm working on your revision on your name.
Yes.
You want to tell them what name you want to use, Samantha?
Well, yeah, it's after that whole rebirth thing. I reclaimed my birth name that was given to me by my mother, and it was Samantha.
Yes.
Fiona came from three Catholic Irish nurses when they told my mom that Samantha was a dirty name for this beautiful baby and that my mother should call her Fiona. And so my name was never given to me by my mother. So we went through a rebirthing last week and I'm reclaiming that name.
Yay.
Welcome, Samantha. Nice to meet you.
Tell us where you got theology.
Oh, well, I've always been in a battle with my name, Fiona, because obviously it was never given to me by my mother. It's been given from another source. And I was always called Fifi. So theology comes from my work and from my evolving experience within myself.
Yeah.
My connection just to my work, really. It was kind of more of a gimmicky kind of thing.
I love it.
That's how I'm going to honor Fiona.
That's going to be a class.
She is theology. So she is something that I lived with, that evolved, that supported me in my life. So she has a place in my name too. So that's the name.
I love it. I love it. So I've asked my virtual assistant out in India to make the correction. I've been blessed with two assistants, one in California and one in India, and these guys are doing all the digital work on promos and classes. So if you see something looks pretty nice and sharp and fancy, it's one of those guys.
Cool.
Would you believe it? Here I'm talking about my mom, and she's trying to FaceTime me.
She's feeling it.
She dialed you in.
Yeah.
So funny.
And that is a thing, by the way.
Emily, Emily, is there something you would like to share? We got about another 10, 11 minutes.
I'm glad I made the call. I was at a job interview before, so I was getting ready for that. But I'm glad that we're still here, connected.
Did your certificate have the right name on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Emily?
It was McFucker instead.
McFuckery. Lynn, did you get
my Instagram name?
Lynn, did you get your certificate?
Sure did. I don't know. I would love to put a different name on it.
All right. Well, send it to. If anybody wants a different name, I'll ask Durgesh to change it up. But only one change, okay?
Gotcha. Fair enough. I never even thought about that. That'd be mine.
Mama Lynn.
Yeah.
I got to write that down because I don't know if I'll get this chat thing. Mama Lynn.
Yeah. That's definitely me.
Do McFuckery. I think that would do not yours for I think that would be a good way to share that, and people will follow your page if you're willing to entertain the idea and teach that that you're in therapy, that you McFuckery got a certificate.
I can do that.
Yeah, I think your presence on Instagram. I see your humor. I see the things that you have shared with me that you are drawn to, that grab your attention. But that's okay. What you're bringing to the table is it's the trigger, right?
Yeah.
Because once they trigger it, you brought it to their consciousness. It doesn't matter how it came to their consciousness. Now they saw it and they cannot unsee it. And then what will happen is they'll start showing up on their timeline as we move forward, because it's everywhere now on Instagram. It's all over the place. So it's going to tap into their mind and be like, is there really a thing about this? Like, and eventually, before you know it, they're in the closet tasting their own pee.
There's a funny meme that says like they can remove my videos and delete my posts, but they can't delete what I know. Knowledge. Knowledge.
There you go. See, that's you, McFuckery. Just do it. Put it on the certificate and post it.
Yeah, I'll post my certificate.
That'd be awesome.
By the way, some of the people saw the honorary doctorate degree I got from Dr. Gupta a couple of years back. I posted it, and it basically means I'm a professor of urinology, or you could call me a P-fessor. But I posted that doctorate degree, and some people are wanting to get their hands on one for themselves because they've been doing urine therapy for quite some time. So if you know anybody who wants to get an honorary doctorate degree, I'm not going to ask VJ to run it through his nonprofit, but I've got somebody who's putting together, we've got a sample I can always share with you guys, but it's a way that you can use that for any kind of credentials for yourself.
That's amazing.
I'll take that. That'll get me in the door in a lot of city places. All
right, shoot me out social media, however you reach me, other than Zoom, other than the chat line, and I can tell you the cost, the details of it. It won't be hard copy; it'll be sent digitally, so you'll have to print it and frame it.
No, we'll do.
Yeah, that's fine. I have a few of those. I had to. I didn't have to. I chose to learn a lot of different religions.
So I have to shoot. I have a client, but I want to know more about that. So I will get in touch soon, but I have to fly. So thank you so much.
Bye, Fiona.
Thank you, Samantha.
Bye, Fiona.
Oh, thank you.
Samantha.
Oh my gosh.
Love you, miss you, aren't you? Love you. Aren't you? Miss you.
Miss you too. See you next week.
Yeah. Oh, this is our last class, but we're always.
I thought we're starting over.
Really?
Isn't there a next class, a higher class?
Oh, you want to go to the
higher self?
You want to go to the next level?
This ain't stopping. Yeah, this ain't ending.
This is
evolving.
It's
evolving. Yes.
I much love everybody. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon. It's been a pleasure.
Bye.
Thank you very much for everything.
I have a question. I'm having trouble getting connected to the chat that you sent out for how to get connected to Telegram.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm having so much trouble getting on there.
Do you have an app on your phone?
I tried putting it on my phone and it doesn't get on my phone.
Did you get the invitation link?
Sure did.
All right. Emily, why don't you connect with Lynn and help her get in there?
Yeah, because if it's not downloading, like if the app itself isn't downloading onto your smartphone, then I'm not sure if it would work. Because the link would work once you like open it up. But
that's what I thought.
If the signal is weak, it'll interrupt the download, and so it'll never. Each time you go back, it doesn't continue where it left off because it's a program. A download is a program. It's pre-written. So anytime you interrupt the signal, it cuts off. It has to start all over again. And if the signal is weak, it'll never finish downloading. So if you sign up to like a Wi-Fi signal that's strong, then you can download it there. Restart your phone before you do that.
I'll give that a try.
And make sure you sure you delete the old one if it's like already there, but it's not functional because the program is not there. You just have the icon. That doesn't mean you have it. Yeah. So just delete that, restart the phone, and make sure that you have a strong Wi-Fi, and then download it again.
Okay. Perfect.
Wonderful. In case anybody wants to get in I've got a class coming up on the 15th. This course is going to be taught to a new group. There's 3 students so far, so I got room for 4 more.
Are they all morning classes? For me, it's difficult for morning. I can do like afternoons, anytime after 3 my time.
Yeah, the challenge I have, brother, is that we have people in UK, Australia, India, Africa, and to coordinate the time zones is a tricky thing. So we have to land it somewhere.
Maybe a separate class.
Yeah, well, that too. I mean, there are some people who they came into a class and it was 7 in the morning.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Oh.
Brother Sage, I just would like, because I missed the first lesson, I probably could have caught up, you know, after this 5. So I wouldn't mind doing one more, if that makes sense, with your next group.
Same here. Same
Okay.
time, I guess we can do.
Send me out the request, your interest, and I'll make it work.
You thought you've seen enough of us, didn't you?
I never see enough of you guys. You guys make me smile and shine. And
I see Brother Sage every day on Instagram.
yeah, what is that? What's with this guy?
Same here.
Great.
You get inspired and you just want to share it.
Yeah.
So if there's anything else you want to work with, either as our community with everybody or with me, you know how to reach everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get on Telegram because I have some things to share for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But good. Well, this group
right here.
Program.
All right. Namaste, y'all.
All right. Blessings.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's been a pleasure.
Go love everybody. Have the time of your life.
Yes.
You
Bye.
too. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye, everybody.